The season finale for Moon Knight has aired, so let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your thoughts on Moon Knight. As this is a spoiler review, feel free to spoil away down below in the comment section. No need for a spoiler warning, and if you haven't watched the season yet and the episode yet, you have been warned. Real quick before we get started, got a couple of announcements. The first one, there is a companion video to this over on my Patreon page that's a 20-minute review of the entire season with my reflections on everything that took place and kind of what I was feeling after finishing the entire season. It's about 20 minutes long. Join over on Patreon at any level and you can hear my full thoughts on the entire season. Second announcement, in the month of May, I've got a bunch of fan meetups in 4 different states. The first one is tomorrow, Thursday. I'm seeing Doctor Strange here in the Austin area, and then I will be at Megacon on May 21st in Orlando, Florida, leading a panel on how to grow a nerdy YouTube channel with Cody Leach. And then a few days after that, I will be in Las Vegas, and I did a little meetup to see Top Gun Maverick. And then the day after that, I will be in Los Angeles for another meetup watching Top Gun Maverick. The specific details on the dates are down below in the comment section, where you can learn how you can attend any one of those. If you're in Central Texas, Florida, Nevada, or Los Angeles, I would love to meet you in the month of May. And let's get started talking about the Moon Knight finale. And for better or for worse, this falls very much in line with the tendency of the Marvel Disney Plus finales, which is to say, it has lots of spectacle and action, lots of payoff, and feels very rushed. And I'm not sure quite exactly what that is, where they keep making the exact same mistake, where it feels like there's an episode that needs to be right before the finale to set everything up for the finale, but we keep getting finales where just there's so much thrown in at the last minute. And in the case of this episode, it's the shortest episode of the season. It's 10 minutes shorter than half the episodes of the season, and they had to tie up every plot line, have a nice little epilogue, and tease what's next. And they tried to do all of that in one episode. And I feel this episode, more so than even WandaVision's finale, Hawkeye's finale, this one, you can watch it, and I felt like there's an exact moment where you can go, right there, cut it, right there, split it, right there, right there. And I'll talk about that when we dive into more specifics, but it's just frustrating because, in general, I've liked the show. I like that it's so different from the rest of the MCU. It doesn't feel like an MCU product. It doesn't have ties to the rest of the MCU. It's weird. It leans into all crazy stuff. Of course, has some great lead performers where they're really diving into the characters. And then you get to the finale and you have to have fights and CGI things punching each other. And in the case of this one, to get to that, we had to recruit Layla. We had to bring someone back from the dead. We had to barter deals. So much had to happen before we could even get to that. And then you want to have an epilogue. So just felt like there's just too much in there. It was enjoyable. I liked it more than some of the other episodes. It had payoff. It wasn't like, oh man, you just killed your whole show. You just undid everything. And at the same time, it's like, why was this one episode and not 2? And if you're going to do this one episode, why wouldn't you make it the longest episode, not the shortest episode? So it's just confusing to me. I don't know why you would do that. It's just like an odd choice. With that said, let's just kind of walk through the whole episode and talk through the specifics. At the end of last week, Steven had sacrificed himself to save Mark. Mark was being taken off to the afterlife, or the final resting spot in the afterlife, and Layla was needing to be recruited to try and do things to free Kaishu and gain the power to stop everything that's about to go down. In which case, there you can see how all of that is setting up, being very close to the finale, but it also feels like you got a lot of work to get from there to your actual climax. And so then we get into this episode, and it has to very quickly kind of like pick up where episode 4 ended and show Layla what Layla was up to, what she's kind of doing in that context. You have this whole situation where she like sneaks, is chasing our bad guys, sneaks into their group to follow them to Cairo, wherever they're going. And she wants to kill the guy and has a knife. And like there's all this stuff happening that doesn't actually lead us to what the finale we're trying to get. And what I mean by that is that if you only have one episode to close everything out, having this whole very short mini subplot about her trying to kill that guy feels superfluous. It feels like a little bit of extra stuff right here that we doesn't need this in light of what we're actually trying to get to. And so then our hippopotamus starts raising bodies up to try and tell her, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Gotta go free this Egyptian god to do this whole other thing to stop all of this. Meantime, in the afterlife, Mark goes back to get Steven. And he gets Steven, and Steven's like, hey, you came back for me. Of course, I can't leave you behind. Which is an interesting thought of like someone that is so attached to their split personality that they won't abandon, like they're treating their split personality like a real person, in which case he absolutely knows it's not, but respects it so much that it's an interesting concept that almost kind of want that to be more explored of like the way he's embracing his mental health issues. It's interesting. And so then they end up heading back to try and return to their body while being very close to being dead. And in the midst of all of this, our main villain, Ethan Hawke, makes his attack on the avatars, and for some reason they're not surprised. Like, despite them having been warned this was about to happen, they're like, that's not gonna happen. He's not gonna do that. And then he shows up and they don't have like a moment where like, oh crap, we screwed up, which seems like they should have like one of the oh crap, we were kind of warned about this 3 episodes ago. Probably should have done something different when that happened. So they get wiped out very quickly, and we're in big trouble because he frees Amit. And we get this alligator creature, I don't know if it's alligator, crocodile, which whatever it is, that's gonna start doing bad stuff and judging people before they've actually done things. And it leads up to a moment where we've got our main villain is brought up to kaiju size, becomes enormous, and is like sucking the souls out of the people of Cairo. Like, uh-oh, things are going down. We got a gigantic Egyptian god kaiju sucking the souls out of people. And running right along with this, Mark, Steven, wake up. They're laying there in the water. And Layla is cutting deals with Hippopotamus God. It's like to be temporary avatar, and so she's going to gain powers. And I'm watching it, and when it cuts to this shot of gigantic monster sucking souls, and you see them like flying out of the city, I was like, that's your cliffhanger shot right there. Just cut it right there. This is episode 6. Episode 7 is next week. Take everything that we happen right here, where like Layla's out for revenge, and we have to go on a quest to bring people back from the dead, or all the other avatars are killed off. That's an episode's worth of plot. That's worthy of an episode of like Mark going to rescue Steven. Like there's 3 plot lines going on, and that's enough. That's like 4 plot lines going on in the first 20 minutes. That's enough for a whole episode and a great cliffhanger. You reach a moment where, oh crap, do they have enough time to stop what's about to go down? And you pause right there, and that's a full episode, and it's a setup episode. It's like everything that you want leading up to have the finale be that proper showdown. You have the tension, the urgency, and there's a little bit of hope, but is there enough time? Credits roll. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They decided to make all of this one episode that's the shortest episode until the back half. So we finally get Moon Knight. Moon Knight's battling people on the street. Layla, I don't know if we get a superhero name for her. She shows up as her own superhero god. And I thought that was fun. I wasn't sure where they were going with some of this stuff. And like if it closed out with Mark being seriously wounded, almost dead, and then she by herself becomes the new Moon Knight, I was like, this is not the direction to take this. But they found the right way to bring her in with the superhero action, give her some powers at the last minute. So a little bit of a superhero team up to fight on the ground level. And then running to this, our two Egyptian gods go kaiju mode, go full Power Rangers, boss fight taking place with them swinging sticks at each other, battling each other, and debating philosophy, which that's like the undercurrent to all of this that's kind of fun, is that there's like this whole philosophical concept about free will. Should you have the choice to make a bad choice? It's just a little thing that tickles your brain. Maybe I think there's even more to kind of play around with that, but they keep doing it even in light of they pay it off nicely at this end of the episode of like with the deals being cut. Like, does Mark have a choice in this? And he hasn't had a choice while fighting for the Egyptian god that's all about giving people a choice. That's interesting. But so we get our boss fight, and so I was totally down for how goofy it got to go full Power Ranger mode. If you're gonna introduce these beings, might as well go for it, and they went for it. But I think that the negative side to that is then that Moon Knight and superhero ex-wife, they just start to feel a little bit superfluous in all of this. Because they're like on the ground beating up henchmen and just like owning everybody and stopping bullets and throwing everyone everywhere. And then they, take out Ethan Hawke. But then there's this other sense in which it kind of went like, okay, but did they need to be superheroes to do that? Like there's a way to rework this just a little bit. They're not superheroes. And you could have done the same thing. They could have defeated them without being superheroes. That to me was a little bit, and when that moment kind of happened where it's like the guy in the costume, actual Moon Knight, feels superfluous in his own show. They concocted this whole plot and this whole story that's it's adventure, it has action, it has intrigue, it has mythology, but the central character and the hook of like, there's this guy that gains powers and becomes the Moon Knight, or Mr. Knight, or the Moon Knight. But that's not pivotal to what takes place. Yeah, sometimes it happens and it's fun and it's easier to take the guys out when we go full Moon Knight mode. But Mark's already a mercenary. And Steven realizes, wait, if he's a mercenary, then I have his skills in his mind. Wait, I can do that too. It's just, that realization was one of the things that made me go, I think they needed to rework the season just a little bit. There's some things in here that I don't think quite added up quite right. But so we get a little bit of Moon Knight action there, and then take the body back and have one more philosophical discussion where the god gets trapped in Ethan Hawke's body, and there's a choice: are we going to kill him? Or are we not going to kill him? Chose not to kill him, and there's one I guess very important detail. I almost left out a very, very important detail. I thought was also another very strange choice they made. So we're in the middle of the final fight, and Layla seems a little bit compromised. Moon Knight is knocked down. Looks like he's about to be defeated. And then blackout. Everyone's taken out. Third personality steps in again. That's how the main villain is defeated. I know what they're trying to do there, and they paid off in the post-credit scene. That's just a terrible writing choice. That's a terrible writing choice. Like, instead of having our actual hero overcome the villain and villains through his ingenuity, through his skills, through Mark and Steven learning to work together, they literally black out for the audience and the character, and a third personality does it off screen. And that's how our main villain is defeated, as well as an army of people. Just on a writing level, it just feels like, what? Why did you do that? And then as an action show, leaving out the action sequence where everybody gets beat up and defeated just feels like a terrible decision. At that moment, like I got doing it some earlier points in time. That's fine. That part of the intrigue, what's going on, he's blacking out. Oh, yeah. But you did it again to defeat the main bad guy at the moment where it's like all is lost. When you're in climaxes, you're trying to build the tension. You have that all is lost. There is no hope. And in typically in big epics where it's possible, the cavalry's called in. So in Endgame, everyone's taken out except Captain America, and it's him versus Thanos, and his shield's destroyed, and he like pulls his strap, and it's like Thanos, he's getting ready to go to battle, and you see Thanos' army pull up behind Thanos, and so it's Captain America versus all of Thanos' army and Thanos, and I could do this all day, and he's not going to give up. That all is lost, and then on your left, and the portal's open, and you get, obviously one of the greatest finales of all time. But it does this, you have that all is lost moment. Like, how are they going to get out of this? And then the most exciting thing happens where you see how they overcome it. And this is, it's a epic trope that works every time, almost every time. It didn't work in Rise of Skywalker, but works every time that it's done properly. In here, you have this all is lost moment. What are we going to do? He's surrounded. Moon Knight's knocked down. And then we have the cavalry show up, and they don't show it. We don't even see what it is. I just think that was just a bizarre choice. And I don't like doing it earlier in the season is good. And you even could have done it maybe even earlier in this episode for a different plot point. I think it would have worked, but they didn't. So then we get into our final little moment where you have our main villain, our main Egyptian, not hero god, the god that's empowering our hero. Is telling him to kill the bad guy, to kill both of them, before they can do more evil, before they can judge more people. And that's where you get into that philosophy where they're like, call out his hypocrisy of like, you're trying to do the exact thing that you're trying to stop this person from doing the exact thing you're about to do. We're not doing it. We've done our one last thing. We fulfilled it. Please take us out of this. So then it cuts to one more sequence of kind of the dream psychiatric ward, as you can see that I don't even know exactly what was fully being implied in all of that, but they go through it and snap out of it. Mark wakes up in bed, and he's still chained to the bed and confused as to why they live in this messy world. I was like, I wasn't quite sure what this was implying. And then they do a post-credit scene where our main villain, Ethan Hawke's pulled out of a psych ward by someone, you don't see who it is, put in a vehicle, and in the back seat of this limo is our, I don't know if you say hero Egyptian god, but he's there in a suit looking nice, and then panel opens and you start to pretty quick, like he starts being like, Mark thought I wanted his ex-wife Layla. I've got something even better, and this guy doesn't even know how jacked up he is, and you go, oh, I know where this is headed. And then the door opens, and it's the face of Mark, but it's someone else introduced as Jake, and that guy kills him, and you learn, okay, so this guy found a way to still have access to the body by using the other person, the third personality that's the brutal killer, the guy that makes Mark look like a softie. Oh, that's interesting. And I don't know if it's said somewhere at the end of cards or anything, Moon Knight will return, but it's certainly implied that more things can come of that. That was a nice little twist. And I wish they had done the third personality blackout a different way in the finale. Earlier, different. Not defeating the main villain. I thought that was just, like, you needed to have it in there to like open that file in the audience's brain that we're thinking, oh yeah, third personality, what is that? What is that? And so then this pays off really nicely and ties together all the stuff that happens. You have to do something to prime your brain for it so it doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere. Doing it when they did, I think, was just such a strange choice. So, in general, I feel like this should have been 2 great episodes, and instead it was 1 decent rushed episode. I think it's real clear where the cutoff could have been. I think even in the epilogue, where it was like a little bit confusing kind of what was going on, I wanted more epilogue. There was room for more epilogue of what's going to happen with Mark and Layla. Like, there's questions that I am interested in the answer to, and I don't need 20 minutes on it, but there's certainly more time there to explore, to have an epilogue. But if you cram 2 episodes into one and make it the shortest episode, you don't have time to do anything. That's exactly what happened here. So it's just so very rushed. And you think the episode is 43 minutes, but there's like 10 minutes of credits. Like the time point for the mid-credit scene was 37 minutes. 6 minutes of credits happen after the mid-credit scene, and there's 2-3 minutes before that. There's literally the main runtime of the episode ended at about 35 minutes. So in 35 minutes, they did 2 episodes worth of plots and tried to close everything out. That's just a bad idea. I don't know why they would do that. I enjoyed the weirdness. I enjoyed the action. But why on earth would you cram it all into into one episode, not 2? So, it's strange. So, in general, I thought Moon Knight was good. I loved that the cast. I loved that it didn't tie into the rest of the MCU. I loved that it didn't feel like the rest of the MCU. I do think they never quite got the balance of everything quite right. Of multiple personalities, globe-trotting, relic hunting, Egyptian weird god mythology, religion, guys in costumes, afterlife, blend it all together, and I don't think they ever got the mix and balance of it all right. And then, as with almost all of these Marvel Disney Plus shows, they just rushed the finale, unfortunately. So, let me know what you guys thought. I haven't seen any reactions on Twitter. I haven't looked into any. I don't know where anyone else is feeling. I would guess a lot of people are going to be saying, once again, a rushed finale from Marvel Disney Plus. I just don't know why they keep doing that. I don't get it. Like this doesn't seem like a deep read to be like, hey, you really need to set up your finale before you can do it. And people like to have land the plane properly with time to let things breathe. Or you can just rush it. They chose to do that. Anyway, I was disappointed by that decision. That might taint the emotion of this review in general. Let me know what you thought down below, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.